All right, everybody. Well, I'm really thrilled to have Andy and Leslie Peters here with us. I met Andy and Leslie at Mega Camp, standing in line, I think, for tacos outside
Yeah.
Austin
Taco
somewhere.
Deli.
Taco Deli, there you go. And they had just been, called by Gary to the stage at a time they weren't supposed to. And it was kind of funny. They got, he made them look late in front of 5,000 people, which was a little unfair.
Yeah.
But anyway,
That's
first
a
of all,
funny
how
story.
are you guys doing? How's your family?
We're good. We're sequestered to the basement right now. We have 2 kids and 2 dogs at home too, like everybody else probably on this call. So if they bark, we apologize in advance. Or if you hear screaming, it's just 2 kids fighting over lunch.
Yeah. I think I've got the same thing on the door behind me. So don't, we're not, doing anything terrible to children over here, torturing anybody.
Yeah,
they're just, 3 and 1.5.
Oh, that's fun.
Well, we're blessed with good health. We're not blessed with good bandwidth. And so we're all finding new normals with that as 2 kids are doing virtual school. And we're doing Zoom call. Leslie and I are doing dual Zoom calls most of the time throughout the day. So, but you know what? We're making the best of it.
Yeah, well, good. And you guys own a number of market centers. How's everybody in your market centers? Everybody doing all right?
Yeah, so we've had 1 case of COVID-19 out of our 1,000 agents, and it was quite bad. This person was put on a ventilator, was in ICU for almost 10 days, and thank God is now off the ventilator and getting back to good health. So we appear to be out of the woods there, but thankfully only 1 case.
Whew.
Yeah.
We're all very fortunate right now.
You guys are in a war zone in New Orleans, from what I understand.
We are. We love touching and hugging and kissing, and it all kind of came back to bite us, I think.
Yeah.
So I think the good news is everyone has really, for the most part, been really good about locking down. And we're about a week away from the peak, they think, is what that University of Washington website's projecting. So hopefully we can do beyond this sooner, is my hope.
Mm-hmm.
And we can be back to business a little sooner. But I guess with 1,000 agents and a team, y'all are looking out for a lot of people. What are you telling your people right now?
Well, and Leslie, feel free to chime in. I'm just needed to create in my own mind a plan. I believe in any moment, whether it's good times or bad times, you want something to change. You need to do 3 things. You need to have a plan and focus on it. The second thing is you need to increase communication. And the third thing is that you need to share wins. So with the first thing being having a plan, we about a week ago, I rolled this plan out and literally look at it every day. Like, how are we doing on these things? And generally, I'd like a 3-point plan or a 5-point plan. This one ended up being an 8-point plan, which I'm not particularly proud of, but it does incorporate kind of the things that should be priorities in our world right now. First thing is virtual presentations. How well are we mastering virtual presentations, and are we practicing it? Is it, even if you're not presenting to buyers and sellers, are you practicing the presentation every single day?
And the good thing we found is a lot of our agents are having success with virtual presentations. And what we're finding is that those conversion rates are actually higher than our typical conversion rates because you're meeting with fewer people, because you're meeting with the motivated. And so whereas, our buyer's agents would typically have an hour-and-a-half presentation if they're sitting down with a buyer just because we're chatty, what we're finding is on Zoom and video, they're getting right to the point. It's about a 45-minute presentation, and they're walking away with signed buyers. So whereas they may not have as many appointments, the ones they're having are actually successful. And one thing that talking about virtual presentations that I like so much is this is a time to really improve your skills, right? On virtual presentations, you can actually record a live presentation, watch it back of yourself, and make ways to improve, because we can all get better. And I think for the agents that are willing to fail forward with both virtual presentations, they're going to be the ones that win. Because I can guarantee you that when we come out of this, we will be listing more virtual presentations, and we're going to be seeing that a part of more of our real estate business. But I think so many of us are so fearful to see ourselves on Zoom or see ourselves on camera. And we've just got to fail forward and do it, which is awkward for our buyers and sellers as it is for us.
Yeah, I think I'm hopeful that a lot of our kind of bad habits that we've been acquiring, that we feel like we have to do things, we can kind of shed some of those and get a little more purposeful, because at the end of the day, a lot of those aren't helping our clients, they're not helping our teams, they're not helping our families. So they're drunk monkeys there. So you both work together. You got 2 kids and at least 1 dog, you said. How are y'all looking? How are you both working? How are you managing this? We have a lot of moms that are or a lot of families, both parents work, and they're struggling to figure out the time and how they can both work. And they both got to look after kids and both got to work. What are you talking? What's the best way to get a little balance here?
This has been Leslie's wheelhouse for the last couple of weeks.
Well, I think I'm a little fortunate because my master's degree is actually in education, so teaching. So I've been able to couple that with my business degree and try to do a little bit of both. But I think the first thing is, the first week was terrible. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Everybody was on top of each other. No one had a set schedule. Everyone was interrupting each other all day long. And we had to set boundaries. So I think we have to have our own spaces, and that's so important. And no one space should be the kitchen. That can't happen, right?
I got kicked out.
We had one person here that really liked the kitchen, which rocked everybody's world. So everybody having their own space is important, right? And then setting boundaries with our kids. I think right now, and you can't when they're toddlers, but if you have children that are elementary school and older, we don't need to feel guilty all the time about working. They have their own things to do, and we don't have to be their constant entertainment and answer every question they have. We need to use this time to build independence with them. And so I feel like so many times us moms that work, we feel this guilt that we have to be there for everything outside of our working hours, and we have to say yes to everything because we're not there all the time. And that's just not the case, right? So I think we have to give ourselves grace as parents, and we have to set boundaries with our kids. And you know what? Teaching is a full-time job, and there's just no way that you're going to be able to take on the homeschooling and do all of your job 100%. So I think this is constantly about counterbalance, right? There is no balance, and it's just counterbalancing. So I think time blocking has been really effective for us too. Okay, kids, I'll spend an hour with you right now and see you later for 2 hours, because don't interrupt me. I'm getting to work.
Yeah, I think we're setting an example right now. 30 years from now, when our kids are grown, what are they going to say about this time? I was on a call this morning. There was a comment that was made that I thought was just fabulous and thought-provoking. He said, are we going to look back on this and talk about the great pandemic? Or are we going to look back on this and talk about the pandemic that made us great? And, I think all of us need to keep some perspective of moving forward. And, my kids have never seen me work the way I work right now, right? For the most part, the time that I spend with my kids, I'm not working, generally speaking. But now they see everything Leslie and I are doing. I think they'll have a newfound appreciation for what we do.
And we put them to work. This week I've had the kids at the office 3 days. Veda and I packed 138 138 bags of Easter eggs to deliver to our clients across the city. And our kids are working. And I think I told her today, she actually did what was it called?
Vision board.
A vision board PowerPoint. And she actually did it for kids in our database. And we shared it on the Facebook page online. And I said, Veda, I think you've learned more in these few weeks at home with us than you've learned at school these past few weeks. And I said, I mean, your presentation skills, creating PowerPoint, organizing maps so we can do delivery charts. Like, I mean, we need to take advantage of this time with our kiddos.
That's a
and
great
make
point.
it meaningful.
That's a great point. There are things we can do. We can pivot. So that's kind of what's working. You know, the things we talk about, like lead gen every day and building downlines and lead follow up. I'm hearing that, Jeffrey, you know, there's just not enough time in the day. That stuff's not working anymore. We've got to, you know, I need help. I just can't get there. What's your take on that? How are you working that into this new routine?
Well, I think now is an opportunity not to lead with business. It's to lead with personal. And when you lead with personal on all of our lead generation, you know, even in a non-pandemic situation, we lead generate around events. And so we invite people to events. We give stuff away. We give away invitations. We give away, you know, client gifts, you know, items of value. And eventually what we know is that will lead back to business. And sometimes we'll purposefully lead it back to business, but it's not the way we lead the conversation. And I don't know that anything's really changed with that. What I find is a lot of people, and you chime in too, but a lot of people just assume the worst when they reach out or when we reach out to them, is, oh my gosh, like it must be terrible in real estate. And they're surprised when we say, well, you know, actually we put 34 homes under contract in March. It was one of the best Marches we've ever had. So I think you can tell people all the time about everything is okay, but I think you have to show people through your perspective and, you know, what's actually happening in the business. You've got to give evidence of it. And there's always good. Sometimes you have to look for the good, but there's always good. And maybe you're not the person that's put 34 homes under contract in March, but you know somebody that has, or you can use that story and leverage your relationships that you have within your market center, within your friend group, and tell those stories.
I think
Absolutely. I mean, our market center's been on any given day 20% of the activity on the MLS amongst our peer group in the city of New Orleans. So
Wow.
we're definitely taking market share because we've got people who are actually working.
Yep.
So I think when I'm reaching out to people, it's just care call, like, how are you doing? And I started doing that in groups of careers that were most impacted. So think about your healthcare workers, think about your teachers, think of all the people, financial planners that are really going through some tough times right now. And so I started reaching out and just asking how we can help. And the immediate thought, I think, for so many people is, oh no, like my home equity has just like completely eroded, right? I mean, what is going to happen? Is this going to be 2008? And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Keeping Current Matters, but Keeping Current Matters actually came out with a great piece. It was like 5 reasons that 2020 is not going to be a repeat of 2008 for the real estate market. And so we shared that obviously with all of our market centers. But after lead generating, it made me think, oh my goodness, like this is data that our clients need to know. So I created a quick PowerPoint presentation, recorded a video, and me just walking them through the 5 reasons it's not like 2020 or not like 2008. And I think that's good. Like they want to hear us calm their nerves about the market because that's their biggest fear.
That's great. So
Yeah.
you guys talked about events, and events are the way you primarily lead generate. And I heard you say you're packing Easter eggs. So what are you doing to kind of fill in that lead gen gap now that we're in a little different situation? You can't just go have a huge Easter egg hunt like you might have been planning on.
Yeah, so we actually had 3,000 Easter eggs already stuffed for our Easter egg hunt that was supposed to be this past weekend. And we're like, what can we do with all these eggs? The candy's not going to keep until next year. Like, we need to figure out a plan. And I said, well, why don't we as a team pick our VIP clients that have young children? And we all went through the list, picked our clients, put them in a spreadsheet. And then I literally stuffed for 2 full days 138 bags of Easter eggs with the help of my kids. And so the past day, we've been delivering them across the city. And I just had our director of marketing create like a little flyer to go in the bag. And it was a Peters Company red bag, the drawstring bags. And we just hung it on their door. And inside was a flyer that said, you've been egged. Thank you for being an extra special client. If you know anyone that needs exceptional real estate help during this crisis, please give us a call and consider us a resource. Love, your friends at the Peters Company. And delivered 38 of those in the past 24 hours. And this is the email I got. And I just have to share this because I think we've been getting texts and emails.
It's been the best response we've ever had for anything.
It's been an amazing response. People are tagging us on Facebook, and I bet we haven't delivered more than 50 at this point. But this email I got this morning is like the reason we do this, because this is just the sweetest thing. Y'all are amazing. I didn't see this email until after we got our bag of Easter eggs, and it brought tears to my eyes. Talk about building a community. Y'all are rock stars, not in how amazingly well you are achieving your goals as a company, but in the way you invest in the people around you. Just want you to know how thankful we are for your thoughtfulness and for helping us all feel like the world will be well again. Thank you, and stay safe. And
what an email.
That's our job. And I mean, one of my favorite quotes ever is stop marketing and start serving. And when we come and approach our business with a servant's heart, like, that's all it takes. Like, your clients just want to know you care. And so how can we do things like deliver Easter eggs or just bring a little value to their lives right now?
Well, and you're seeing a lot of the virtual happy hours pop up. So we're doing a virtual happy hour with our database, talking about the real estate market and how things are changing and what virtual showings mean and virtual open houses, and what are we doing different, and just getting people on that. There's people that have been waiting months. Some people have been waiting a whole year to list their property at this moment in the spring.
Right.
And they've put their hopes and dreams on, whatever selling this house gets them to the next thing. And I think the message we need to deliver is, let's not give up on those hopes and dreams. Let's just figure it out, because all that just happened in the world, it just changed how we do real estate. It doesn't change why we do real estate. And I think that message has got to get out.
Great point. Great point. I think before I open it up for questions, I want to ask you one about tech and command. How has your transition to these systems, before this event helped out, and how is that? How are you guys leveraging command right now?
Oh, that's such a great question. Okay, so and it's very timely. So we are a team of 15 in Atlanta.
Wow.
And we had been told for a long time that command was not ready for that many people, that we actually needed to wait.
We actually heard that from Gary.
We did. Gary said, wait, it may not be ready for you guys. Well, this all happened, and we had been working hard on an exit strategy because we had been using Follow Up Boss. So we'd been working on our exit strategy to command. This went down, 3 weeks ago? And I said, we're going to be out of Follow Up Boss by the end of the month, out of Dotloop by the end of the month. And on April 1st, come heck or high water, whatever we have to do, we're going to be in command. Well, our poor director of marketing worked all weekend to get 10,000 contacts in command. And it happened, and we're there. And so we're failing forward every day. Is it perfect? No, but we're not perfect. We don't even know what all it can do yet. And so I think that has been our commitment this week, is how can we utilize this free tool that is so amazing, right? And now is the time to get in it. So if you haven't been exploring command, there is no better time. You're not going on as many appointments. You're not showing as much property. Go get in it.
Well, and the technology, the utilization of this technology is not only is it more efficient and it will help us in our business, but it's actually saving jobs. You know, I would rather cut Follow Up Boss and Dot Loop than I would cut a job. And, you know, every little bit helps right now. In the month of April, we're committed to cutting 20% of our expenses again. And by the way, this is an additional 20% because this time last year, we had over $100,000 in reoccurring monthly expenses, and now we have 60. So we've already cut a lot, and it's got to continue.
So you're able to cut those expenses, and Command is picking up the slack there?
Yeah, it's a portion of it for sure.
So right now, off the bat, we saved $1,000 a month.
Just by moving to Command, which isn't even ready for a team of 15.
Yeah, for a team of 15. And I mean, $1,000 a month, like
that's a lot.
Sizable.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot. Well,
we know that we too have a rollout plan because we want to get our website to Command, and we'll save about $300 when we make that move a month. So we have all these other things. We're just the first domino was getting us all to Command.
Well, that's sizable. I'd like to. We have a bunch of agents on here right now. Anybody want to ask some questions or?
I saw one about how do we divide up roles.
Yeah, go
ahead. So that, you know, that's a tough one. I mean, Leslie and I talk about that a lot with people because I do think, you know, when you're married, you tend to kind of muddy the roles a little bit. And it's not so much because you're not a good business person. It's just because you want to save each other. Like you want to jump in and help and do something when it's not necessarily in your job profile. And, you know, we had to make the decision early on. We really only wanted one person's phone to ring for sales. So that, you know, yes, that is part of the business, you know, fielding calls at all hours of the day and night. We just don't need that for our family. We don't need two phones to that.
Right.
You know, I think also when you're growing a business, there's so many different hats to wear, and quickly figuring out what you're good at, or maybe not even necessarily what you're good at, but that you're better at that than the other one. Because I know Leslie's done every job on the team, and I won't say that she's probably enjoyed all the things that she's done, but she stepped in to do them because they needed to be done. You know, so I think it's just being real clear with what the job profile is and not being afraid to say, you know what, you shouldn't be doing that. That's actually part of my job.
So I think the question was too, like, what do we actually do? So Andy is the OP of 3 market centers in Atlanta. So he's probably working right now. All of his time is on those market centers, and all my time is on the team. We teach and train across the U.S. a lot for Keller Williams. And so last year, I think we were on the road 77 days teaching across the country. And so we've cut that back this year. We basically said we cannot travel and teach because our team needs us, right? Our market centers need us. So we're on the road. I think we committed to 12 teaching days on the road this year.
Yep.
And then I'm on the team solely. The team's my number one job.
Yeah.
So that's accountability for our leadership and driving systems and tools and just whatever it takes, stuffing Easter eggs and bags.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, I'll get it done.
Well, cool. While we wait for somebody who wants to unmute themselves here, Adam, what are some of your big takeaways from today? What can we start implementing? Adam's our PC coach, by the way, and you know, one of my big things that you said was sharing wins. I'm struggling with how to do that. It's the different team meeting. We're having huge team meetings online, you know, with 40 to 60 people. But it's a lot different when we have a property discussion for people chiming in or congratulating someone on a listing. What are you guys doing? What's working for you?
One of the things Jeffrey, that I want to share real quick that I put on the side was when she said, stop marketing and start serving. I think that's a big takeaway for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think right now, in terms of sharing wins, that kind of goes back to having some sort of consistent communication. I think we're all kind of distracted being at home, just a lot of things going on. And there's got to be some base camp, right, where you go back to every day that you're able to talk about your wins, what happened, even the smallest of wins, get to share it, that you can talk openly about what the struggles are that you're facing so that others can help you overcome it. And finally, that you can share solutions, So as a group, right now, that's incredibly important. That's a play that we're running. I do a huddle at 8:00 with our team leaders and our directors. And then we have an 8:30 call with the production team, making sure everybody gets on the same page for the day. We talk about what were the wins from the previous day. We talk about the plan for today. And then, we have a 11 o'clock call for all of the market centers. And, KWRI has so much content out there. And we're doing that. We're doing a 2 o'clock call. I let the team leaders kind of run those 11 o'clock team meetings. And then we do a 2 o'clock call on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, where we interview kind of influential people from around the company. Yesterday was David Osborne. Wednesday was Dick Dillingham. And we've had Gene Rivers. We're just having conversations with all of our heroes. And we're talking to them about, past shifts, things that they've gone through. How did they overcome adversity in their own life, both professionally and personally? And we're just telling stories. We're just kind of getting back to personal interest stories because they're inspirational and they help people right now. So I think having structure is important right now. And recording stuff because people have other things going on that they can come back and reference it as well.
Awesome. MJ, I saw you on mute. Were you did you have a question?
Yeah. First, I'd just like to say thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to speak with us. It's been really valuable. Living in New Orleans, as you can see, it's Fun Friday.
Yes. Love your hair.
Thank you.
It's natural. She's a natural purple head.
Wore my purple shirt today to match it. But I think that one of the things that you said that really resonated with me was coming from a serving attitude is great. Also about how you focus around events. We have so many events here. I mean, obviously not right now, but how do you guys really go about doing that? And how do you kind of bring it back to your message?
That's been so tough. In fact, we were in Las Vegas with our kids when all this shelter in place stuff went down.
3 weeks ago.
It happened like overnight.
Yeah.
And
that's when I first reached out to you guys, actually.
Yeah.
Y'all were on vacation.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's not going to go much longer.
Spring break. Yeah.
No, we barely made it. But we get back and our director of operations is telling me that we need to cancel our Easter egg hunt. And I was like, no, we're not canceling that. And she's like, Leslie, we have to. And I kept saying, let's just wait a few more days. Let's not cancel it yet. And then obviously we canceled it. And then we have this huge Kentucky Derby party every year where we raise $2,000 in a couple hours for one of our favorite charities. And it was May 2nd. And the next day she calls me, she's like, and we need to cancel the Derby party too. And I said, no, we're not canceling too. Let's hold out. Right. Well, now little did I know, it's of course canceled. So I hop on the phone with our director of marketing and I'm like, how in the world can we replace these events? Because that belly to belly, toe to toe time with people is so important. That's how we've built our business. And so how do you replace that? So we're doing a Facebook happy hour with our database and kind of answering any questions they have on the real estate market in a couple of weeks. And then I started thinking about children, the people that are having a hard time right now working from home are people with kids. Sure. So what can we do for them to kind of bring some happiness and joy? The Easter eggs was obviously one. My daughter's 10 and she's made a vision board for 5 years. So she did a vision board class online yesterday that we put together. And we're going to have people tag us with their kids' vision boards and then share them online next week. And then the other one, what was the other one we did? May, we added a kids club portion to our email newsletter. We're going to do a scavenger hunt next month for kids, so they can just go around their neighborhood and find things and then share with us. So we're just trying to think outside the box.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Honestly, we're doing coloring contests with the KW app in May. So we're really making a push for the consumer app. So I said, why don't we send a postcard that's non-matte, that's a matte finish, that kids can color their favorite app on, and the KW app will be there. So that should be fun. So we're just trying to think of different ways we can engage with our database.
And the question,
Great ideas. Great ideas.
the question around like, how do you bring it back to the message?
Yeah.
To be honest, like, we at an event, at a typical event, we may stand up and for 5 minutes talk about what's going on in the market, deliver some sort of our favorite call to action is everybody knows 7 people this year that will buy, sell, or invest in real estate. And while we would be honored to have all 7 of those referrals, if we could be so bold, we would appreciate if you could just remember us for 1. And so you're activating, like you got to activate everybody, right? And then
That's brilliant. I like that.
And then you just quickly move into let's have some fun,
Right.
And it's really the follow up, after the event and the photos of the event, or when you're thanking people for coming. And I think it's just the whole thing is about gratitude.
Right.
I don't know that we really spend a whole lot of time like pounding people for business, and yet we're over 80% referral and repeat. So it's just it's a play that works.
Yeah.
It has worked for the last 10 years, and we just keep running it.
And I think so often our coaches especially will ask us this, like, well, how many leads did you get from that event? And I'm like, I don't know, 1.
Yeah.
I mean, and normally it's not a lot that come out of that one event that we collect that day, but it's like a cocktail approach. And I think that's our best way to explain it, is like we run a 36 touch program. So I don't know if it's our mail, if it's our phone calls, if it's our email newsletter, or if it's the event that is the reason they're referring us, but it's almost like a cocktail. I don't know which one worked.
Right. It's like they say McDonald's could stop advertising today, but they will continue. They'll have years before their sales fall off.
Right.
But eventually, it will stop. And who knows if it's the ad or if it's the whatever, but it'll happen.
Yeah.
Those are great points. I wrote down the stop marketing and start serving. That's, I think, been a huge thing in our office too, that y'all put a nice point on. So thank you there.
Sure.
James, is that you looking for a question there? You leaned in on us.
I'm good, thanks.
Okay. Well,
You just want to drop the wig.
Go ahead.
I was reaching for my vitamin C.
Oh, good for you. Well, if anyone else doesn't have anything for the Peters, Adam, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to throw out a fun idea that kind of came to mind when they were talking about the Easter eggs. It reminded me of our the virtual TV videos that we watched from iMoto. And how much fun would that be to actually go put Easter eggs in there before they shoot it, and then have everybody scroll through the house, they take a screenshot and post it as a comment for each Easter egg that they find.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Absolutely. So many different ways to make it your own. Well,
yeah, that's a deal. Plus the ideas.
Love that. Well, guys, y'all are our heroes, and that's why we had you on, and we really appreciate it. For taking time out of your busy lives in this crazy time. So thank you very much. And if there's anything we can do for you, please let us know. We'd love to return the favor somehow.
You are so welcome. Thanks for having us, guys.
Let the good times roll, y'all.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.